Good afternoon. Come to you right here after having I thought it was a pretty good game. When you take a look at it from the hindsight, it didn't look as so good, but took some good things, some key things away from that game we just played last week. You're talking about we wanted to make sure that we got better in the penalties. We had 2 penalties that wasn't costly. I thought the overall game was played well by both teams. It didn't have a lot of flags out there. The encouraging part for me was that my offensive line was able to have the team rush for over 200 yards against a SEC opponent, which we know is not easy. You're talking about probably a top 10 defense, and then not to give up as many sacks. So, I thought that was encouraging. And then, we had some key drives that towards the ending of the game. So, but we put that in the rearview mirror. Now we got to look forward to Southwestern Athletic Conference play, and be prepared for that.
Coach, LSU kind of took some things away in the passing game. What did y'all learn about that you're going to use going forward about getting the passing game going this week?
Well, I had a chance to look at the tape, and I wouldn't say I thought they played sound, but the plays was there. We just didn't execute. You got to be able to execute at a high level, especially when you're playing against a well-coached football team. So I thought that it was there. We just didn't make the plays, and now we know what we need to do.
Coach, Brian Kelly said after that game that he was really impressed about you guys never stopped fighting even towards the end of the game, and he said the one thing that stood out to him was you guys kept bringing pressure even late in the game when it was pretty much over. Why was it important to continue doing that through 4 quarters?
I think that's the mindset of our football team. That's who we are. Once you have that identity, you got to continue to hold true to that, regardless of who you're playing, the opponents, and how the game is faring out. But the one thing I will say that I learned about our team as well, that the Jaguars are going to fight for 60 minutes.
Coach, what did you tell your team after that game when you got in the locker room?
Well, this is one that we got to drop off fast. Everybody say a 24-hour rule, but we have to drop it off because I didn't measure out how we wanted to. We can't let LSU beat us twice. And what I mean by that, we can't look in the rearview mirror. We got to move forward and know what's ahead of us. Everything that we set out to accomplish is still in front of us. But more importantly, we just need to go 1-0, and that's against Texas Southern.
What have you seen on film against Texas Southern? I notice they like to run the ball up, not pass as much. What do you see on film?
Well, first of all, you're going to always talk about the quarterback body. He's a great football player. He can beat you with his legs as well as with his arms. They got a great running game and got some receivers that are playing well. But when you look at the defensive side of the ball, you got one guy that's ranked number 2 in the conference in tackles, so you know that they're going to be very excited about that. Then they have another guy, their linebacker, that's ranked number 6. Have a defensive back by the name of Hamilton, number 7. Have 2 interceptions thus far and 1 for TD. So we know they're going to be sound defensively. It's going to be a great football game, a challenging football game for us.
Coach, after looking at the film, was the offensive line even better than what you thought? What were some of the things they did well?
I wouldn't say better than what I thought. I just thought that they hold true to what we expected because they were a veteran group. You had 3 guys that returned and 2 guys that we thought that we brought in that can help that line as well. So, I mean, what we were looking for, they played well. Didn't play winning football, but they played well enough to have us to become winners.
Coach, any injuries at all for this week?
No, and that's always the plus side of it. But, our strength and conditioning coach done a great job with those guys throughout the summer. Those guys practice hard, train hard, and it holds true. You don't have to be as big, just got to be stronger.
Is Ethan Howard going to be available this week?
He's still working on some things, so as of right now, he's not available.
Coach, you've been involved in 2 lopsided affairs thus far, and we sort of saw the playbook open up a little bit in the second half. Are we expecting to see more trickery and playing some shots down the field this game?
Well, we plan everything. I don't believe in a lot of tricks. I think you got to play football. You got to play sound football. So we're going to line up and play our brand of football. We're going to execute at a high level and win the game that way. But for it being trickery, I don't believe in those type things. I think you got to plan it and prepare your players to play football for 60 minutes.
Coach, after watching the film, did you come away a little more impressed with the way J.J. Sims running the ball?
Well, it's kind of hard, and I guess I got to coach myself up on that. I'm not good with losing, so I don't know how much I can be impressed on a lot of things. You got to take some positives away so that you can build on it. But we knew he can run the football. That wasn't a question that we had. He knew he can run. I was more impressed with Carl Liggins, being a freshman, and got his first touchdown, collegiate touchdown, and it was against SEC opponent.
How does the mindset change going into SWAC play? That doesn't change at all.
Our mindset doesn't change. Every team we play, we're going to prepare. We know that it's a challenge for us, so we're going to prepare the same way.
Coach, Coach McKinney described his offense similar to yours. It's an up-tempo. Is it that similar, or do they do some things that are different from what y'all do?
I'm pretty sure they do things that are different from what we do, but I guess what he was saying that's similar, everybody's running a fast-paced offense, but everybody have their own style of way that they like to do it.
Talk about their program. Obviously, where you were, it's like a rivalry. Two programs, I guess, get compared quite a bit. What is Texas Southern's program? Were you literally recruiting against them for every player? I know they at times had billboards at Baton Rouge trying to get Louisiana kids.
Well,
what is their program from being able to see them that close up every year?
Well, I think McKinley does a good job with going out, recognizing guys that he need to get for his program. It's going to be competition right there. When you talk about FCS level and some of the mid-majors, we're going to recruit the same players. I'm going to recruit the same players that the SEC recruit. I want the top. Just got to land them and get them in. But I think the program been doing a great job. You know, everybody measure how well a program is doing by W's and L's. But I think when you look at the program and where he's brought it to, I think he's doing a great job.
Coach, what are some of the things you thought Rashawn did well Saturday, and how is he preparing for this week after this weekend?
You know, I thought the stage didn't bother him. You know, he came out, didn't hit on, wasn't clicking on all cylinders, but I thought he settled down and wanted the game to come to him. I mean, you know, you talk about an individual that came to me on the sideline and said, "Coach, let me win the game." And you love that from a quarterback, regardless of what the situation is. And at that point in time right there, we were already behind. So he was very, very encouraged and ready to play.
How tough is that when you have a local quarterback at his level that can do it with his arm and his legs to let the game come to him and not try to press, be too anxious?
Well, I just think it shows the maturity and shows the job that our assistant coach, Jonathan Williams, is doing with him, walking him through it and letting him know what he needs to do to become a successful quarterback.
Obviously, the Bayou Classic is different, but what is your opinion about these classic games where you take the game away from campus? In a lot of cases, your fans have to go a lot further. They obviously get the benefit of maybe going to a big city or something like that. What's your opinion about these classic games?
I like home and home. I like going on the campuses. I like to have the opportunity to show the atmosphere of each college campus, but I just control what I control. Whatever's on the schedule, I'm going to play it.
How do you view the state of Texas now as a recruiting stronghold versus when you were at PV? Does it mean more to play these games to get Southern in front of guys in Texas?
No, since I've been here since '97, we had some guys from Texas, so it didn't change. I view that as a city that's real close by, that's within the surrounding areas that we have opportunity to reach and recruit. We've been recruiting in the city of Dallas, Houston, so it doesn't change anything for us. It just brings us a little closer.
When you go up against a quarterback like anybody who can kill you with his arm and his legs, how much more disciplined does your D-line have to be?
They got to play assignment sound football. We do understand that, and I think we couldn't get it at a bigger stage. We had an opportunity to go against a young man last week who's similar, who can run, who can beat you with his legs and show that he can throw the football as well. So I think Andrew Body is that same type of guy. Never had the opportunity to play against him. This is our first time going against him, but we know that he's an extremely talented young man.
What did you see from your defense in the second half that you think your team can build on for this week at Texas Southern?
Well, when you look at the points, you don't say that they did a great job, but then when you go really dissect it and see what they were able to accomplish and how they was able to make the adjustments and slow the offense down, I thought it was good. But, you know, it wasn't that they gave up a lot of points. They had a short field. You know, when you turn the ball over, then you expect that. We turned the ball over 4 times, so that kind of hurt the defense and made it seem as though they didn't play as well as they did. But I thought they played some great football. They made some great adjustments and kept fighting for 60 minutes.
Coach, what do you think about your defense? 3 times this year so far they've scored a touchdown, and then the 4th they've also forced a safety. pretty impressive that they're scoring like that.
Well, yeah, that helps. That helps out the overall football team. It makes the offense look good because it looked like they're putting up a lot of points. But I think we just play complementary football. That's what it's all about. We want them to turn the ball over, and when they turn it over, we want to get the football and score it.
How would you evaluate the secondary right now?
I think they're growing. They're starting to play with, understanding how to play with one another, and that's always a growing pain for everybody. You want to see how they're going to gel. You bring a lot of individuals from different places, and you want to see how they're going to gel. But Coach Miller's doing a great job, outstanding job with those guys, getting those guys to understand how to play together as a team.
Satisfied with the way your communicating is doing, whether in between different coaches and the staff and getting information out to the players and them knowing what they're doing?
Absolutely, but I think that would be tough. That would be a tough question because nobody would never know if I wasn't. So, but they're doing an excellent job. I mean, those guys are all veteran. You know, they've been doing it for a long time, and that never been a concern of mine. I knew that the job would get done by getting it to the players and letting them know how to communicate. So, you know, you got a lot of, in my opinion, you got a lot of head coaches on this team.
How do you use this game to make a statement about what the Dooley era in Southern is going to look like in the SWAC?
Never try to make a statement. Just need to one thing that we're looking to do. Just go 1-0, and I think that's enough within itself. When you're talking about a challenging conference that we have on both sides, especially the West, you can't afford to get behind. So we understand what we need to do, what we need to accomplish.
Coach, from a sense of unifying Baton Rouge after Saturday, was the buzz like you thought it would? Like, what's the kind of residual effect now that you get to look back at everything that happened leading up to that game and after?
Oh, no question, it was historical. You know, some things some folks never saw coming, but it did. And just for to have two teams that's within, I guess, 10, 15 miles apart from one another come in and have an atmosphere like we had, you couldn't really imagine that right there. So we won't know. Hopefully, I won't say that because it makes it seem like you're getting older. My grandkids will be able to understand what took place on that day, but I thought it was very historical.
Would you ever want to see that game again?
Absolutely. Of course, I would want to see it again because we didn't come out on the top end of it. So, of course, I would love to play it again.
What did it look like from the sidelines, you just looking around Tiger Stadium, seeing, you know, Southern fans, LSU fans together cheering? Just what did it look like from your vantage point on the field?
You know, that's an interesting question because I would never see. The only fan that I can see probably is my wife and my kids. I block out everything else. I wouldn't know who was there. Once you get into a certain zone, I think you got to focus on the tasks that at hand. And that was just a football game. I'm pretty sure it was electric for everyone because you're talking about 110,000 who imagine that right there. And, you know, both bands are blowing. Again, I can only hear the Southern University band. So it's kind of tough for me to answer that question.
Did she report back who she gave the tickets to?
Didn't ask. I know somebody was happy, somebody wasn't happy. So it fell out well, though.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.